Hey everybody, welcome to another week of e-learning. I'm sure all of you heard the super sad announcement last week that school is going to remain closed the rest of the year in terms of us being in school in the building and together that way. So we're going to come up with some creative ways that we can still kind of be together, still be this school family, this fourth grade family. And a couple of announcements. Remember, you are still supposed to be checking your email daily, not only for missed assignments, but we started doing some Google Meets last week. We tried with one homeroom to see how it was going to go. Went very well. So this week we are going to be starting to meet every single week, one day a week with each homeroom. Now the day and the time will be different for each homeroom, so you need to pay attention to your email as well as the reading link, because you're always going to go to reading to find the link. But it's a link that Miss Thomas and Miss Ferguson join at the same time. So all three teachers are going to get to meet with you once a week. You'll get to sign on. We'll get to see your face. Now, it's super easy. If it says your time is, say, Thursday at 11, then you are going to go into your reading classroom. Right underneath the banner where it says reading, that usually has a different color on it. I think it's got guitars on it. Then it's going to say the word meet. You're going to click on that meet link whenever it's time to go in there. When it first comes up, you have to allow the camera and join the class. But then guess what? You're going to get to see us and any of your friends that show up. Everybody's going to get to talk to each other. So this is an exciting way that we can still be kind of a class family, our fourth grade family. You'll get to see, we'll do one homeroom a day and once a week. So make sure you're watching for that to come out. I think we had about 7 or 8 in our pilot class that were able to sign on, but hopefully we can get everybody to participate and be able to see everybody. Works best on your Chromebook, so just be prepared and be watching that, but check your email daily, not only for missed assignments, but so you also don't miss that. If your parents want to order a yearbook, they need to go to the Iva Elementary School Facebook page, and it gives directions on how to pre-order a yearbook, and then they'll give you directions on how to pick it up. And if your parents wanted to order your spring pictures, then you need to email your homeroom teacher, and we'll give you the code so that your parents can go in and look at those to decide if they want to purchase them, okay? The last thing, the Apple Art form was posted either in your homeroom class or I think I posted it in reading for at least my homeroom. If you need the link to that, Miss Beggs needs you to fill out that Google Doc if you're interested in that. And if you are, just click on it, and then Miss Beggs will get in touch with you from here on out. Also, if you made the honor roll, Mr. Crawford actually read aloud your names and certificates on the Iva Elementary School Facebook page too. So you can see if you made the honor roll for the third 9 weeks, and your parents can share that since there was not an official ceremony. Once again, we're super sad about the announcement that we don't get to go back, but we are going to make the best of a bad situation. So for the next 2 days, we're going to finish up kind of our research and information on the Revolutionary War, because hopefully by Wednesday, we will be heading into our I Survived book, which you're absolutely gonna love, I promise. And we're gonna be able to start putting some dots together. We've heard some names that we'll hear in both books, not only names of people, but names of places. And we'll be able to see which facts were true. We're going to be able to talk about primary sources that were talked about in both. So I think this is a unit that you're going to continue to like. All right, Chapter 8, Valley Forge. Washington and his army spent the winter of 1777 to 1778 camped near Philadelphia at Valley Forge. Congress had little money for the war. It was slow to send supplies to the soldiers. Many soldiers were wrapped in rags, some went barefoot. Lice infested their hair and their clothes. Hands and feet turned black from frostbite. Everyone suffered from the cold. Washington even asked Congress, what is to become of the army this winter? This is a very, very sad situation that the Continental Army found themselves in. Deplorable conditions to have to go and stay in and fight in. Remember, even though the winter, other than the surprise attack against the Hessians, usually the winter was a quiet time just because of the situation with the snow and the cold, making it difficult to fight. But not just that, not only to fight, to even live. They've got frostbite, they don't have clothes, they're spreading lice like crazy, diseases everywhere, they have no shoes to wear. Super, super sad. And Congress was really out of money for the war at that point, so they couldn't even send them supplies and food in order to be able to live. Washington ordered the men to cut down trees for cabins. Until they were built, he slept in a freezing tent just like his men. All right, in the comment section, I want you to tell me what character trait of George Washington that would be. He ordered cabins to be built, but he didn't have his cabin built first. He slept in a freezing cold tent until they all had cabins. What does that tell us about the man that George Washington is? And I'll comment back to some of yours when I see those words. To add to their problems, there was almost nothing to eat. Bread made of flour and water was often the only available food. That was more like the hardtack kind that would almost break your teeth to eat it. Smallpox, typhus, and other diseases broke out. Around 2,500 soldiers died from disease, lack of food, and the cold. They didn't even die from the war. 2,500 from external elements, disease, cold, no food. It was the low point in the war. So it wasn't a significant battle that was the low point. It was losing so many soldiers, losing their lives without even having to fight. In February, Congress managed to send supplies. Then life began to look up for the soldiers at Valley Forge. Here's a picture of them building the cabins. And there they are, just with a cannon. All right, some wonderful friends came to help out Washington and the men, okay? I'm going to read you about some of those. Baron von Steuben. Baron Frederick William Augustus von Steuben was a Prussian army officer. He spent the winter training the Continental Army. He taught the soldiers to fight in an organized way. Remember, they just all had their own weapons. They were hiding behind stuff. They didn't know which direction to even run to retreat because they'd never been formally trained for war. So he was a Prussian army officer that came over here to help Washington during that winter so that he could train them when they weren't actually fighting. Each day he drilled the men on how to march and how to load their weapons. Von Steuben even wrote a training guide for the troops. Marquis de Lafayette. The Marquis was from a rich French family. Lafayette loved the colonist idea of liberty. Remember we talked about those 3 ideas that the Declaration of Independence supported: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I asked you which one you thought was the most important. Most of you said life or liberty. He loved the idea of liberty, of freedom. He came to America when he was 20. Lafayette served on George Washington's staff and spent the winter at Valley Forge. In 1779, Lafayette returned to France. France was actually on our side during this war, so they had sent us a lot of help, whereas the Germans were helping out the British forces. He urged the French to send more aid to the colonies. When he left America, he took some dirt with him. The boy took some dirt with him. Now, you might have visited the beach and picked up some sand or some shells, but he's going back to France, and he picks up American soil and takes it with him. Why would he do something like that? Here's why. He loved the United States so much, he wanted to be buried in American soil. That tells you that he really, really believed in the cause of freedom that these folks were fighting for. He was happy to help them for the time that he could. This is a picture of Baron von Steuben. This is the young fella, Marquis de Lafayette. And remember, he was from a rich French family. He didn't have to come over here and help us out, but he believed in the idea that he was talking about. Tomorrow, we're going to be reading the chapter about the end of the war. And then remember, we're kind of, in essence, going to be kind of starting over and finding out where our I Survived book is going to pick up at. But you're absolutely going to love that book as well. So we're going to keep working with informational text the next couple of days. And then hopefully when we get on the I Survived, I'll start sending you some more fiction and historical fiction. We're just going to have to continue to do the best we can until the end of the year. But I want you as prepared as I can for 5th grade. Please remember, I cannot really reset Google quizzes, okay? So you need to take your time when you're doing those, if they're on Google Forms, or if they're the close reads that I'm sending out with some Revolutionary War heroes, or some close reads, the one like April Fool's Day or Paul Revere. Please take your time on those. I cannot reset those unless they reset for the whole class, which is not fair. ReadWorks, I will be happy to reset anybody that makes below 100. I'll reset it as many times as you need to. So just let me know. Also, parents and kids, I am inputting grades as I get them right now. And I'm not counting everything. I kind of look at the overall average to see what the strongest grades are. And those are the ones that I'm trying to count. But I'm still looking and reading everything that you submit. Some of you guys are staying right on it, and I appreciate it. Some of you guys have fallen behind, and need to do some catching up because the way the governor talked, we're going to be doing school almost until the very end with these assignments and inputting grades. And we do not know what the grading system for quarter 4 is going to look like. So we have been told to just put them in as is right now. So a lot of you are not giving your best work. So even though you're doing it at home, minimize your distractions. Go away to your room if you need to and do the very best you can. Please don't let it take you all day to watch one 10-minute video and do one 15 or 20-minute reading activity. That means your reading did not take longer than 30 minutes. Some of you also are neglecting the language that I have posted. That is for all 3 classes because we don't have spelling tests to give or writing assignments to give from school or language tests to take. That is going to make up your language grade for the 4th 9 weeks, but we really don't have language grades in because so many of you have not done a language assignment. So if you're behind, please go back and catch up so we can get you guys some good grades in, okay? Do your very best. I appreciate all the work that you guys are putting in, parents and students alike. Here we go with another week. Let's see if we can finish this week super strong, okay? Everybody working hard, and we'll see everybody in Google Meets one day this week. Bye, guys.